231. That's the average number of apps used by many companies. This leads to a lot of context switching that can distract employees and costs your company. Luckily, Grammarly can help. Grammarly's AI works in over 500,000 apps and websites, making it easy for your team to crank out clear, on-brand emails, documents, messages, and more. In just one click, they can go from blank page to first draft, all without leaving the page they're on. Grammarly has 15 years of experience building effective, secure AI that can be implemented in days with minimal IT overhead. It goes beyond basic grammar to help tailor writing to specific audiences, whether that means adding an executive summary, fine-tuning tone, or cutting out jargon. Join 70,000 teams who save an average of $5,000 per employee per year using Grammarly. Go to grammarly.com/enterprise to learn more. Grammarly, enterprise-ready AI.
This time of year, a good hoodie is absolutely essential. But these days, it's tough to find one that will last through the season. That's why the American Giant Classic Full Zip Hoodie is made to last a lifetime. So you can count on it to bring you comfort and warmth year after year. Slate Magazine called it the greatest hoodie ever made. And from cotton to zipper, it's made right here in the USA. It's crafted with timeless style, heavyweight fleece, a double-lined hood, and reinforced elbow patches, which means this hoodie can withstand any outing or adventure. It'll be your new favorite hoodie, and you can depend on it for years to come. Plus, buying from American Giant means supporting local communities of farmers, manufacturers, and more. This season, snag the hoodie that will bring you comfort for life, the American Giant Classic Full Zip, and save 20% off your first order at american-giant.com when you use code CLASSIC24 at checkout. That's 20% off your first order at american-giant.com, code CLASSIC24.
Y'all know we got to get up in here and talk about this because I know this may affect you just as much as it did me. So let's talk about this thing. I'm talking about receiving government assistance and while making a little bit of money off of these social media networks, okay? But first, let me tell you what I'm cooking. I'm finna cook some fried pork chop. I'm debating if I want to put flour on it, cornmeal. I want a crunchy taste, and at the same time, my stomach's still a little sore from last night. What do I have down here that I can add on it? Yeah, my stomach's still a little sore. I think I'm going to eat it just plain. Just add a little seasoning to a little bit of oil, and that's it. Okay, so let me pull up some things here. Hope y'all are doing okay. Hope you've been following me on TikTok because this is where it all started. TikTok started something for me. It wasn't TikTok itself. It was my email and podcast. This podcast right here, to be exact. I'm going to ask the AI a question because AIs, they do have a lot of information and knowledge when it comes down to our lives and concerning our benefits and benefit schedules and things. AI has a lot of information. So give me a second. I should have already done this, but I just come on just now because I'm here. I just come on, and I ain't prepared nothing. It just popped up on my head that if this happened to me, it can happen to others. Okay, so I got to make sure I ask this question directly. So that I get a good answer from it. So let me see. I want to see what it says. Okay, so this is good what it said. I asked the question just right. Happy about that. And let me tell y'all what it says now. So the question that I asked the AI was when to report earned income from social media to social service if receiving government benefits? That's the question that I ask. How many of y'all out here listening or, you may just be on social media to be having fun or just out of hobby or just out of being nosy or just because you like to be on there. I mean, there's no direct reason why somebody wants to get on social media. Some do want to get on there and make as much money as they can, but others just are on there out of hobby, or maybe they want to be an advocate and get the word out about certain things that are going on in the neighborhood or within their life, or, they might just want to help the next person, which is kind of what I like to do, is advocate by telling my experiences, my testimonies, and what I know, how people could try to spare people from going through some of the things that I've been through, such as domestic violence, drug and alcohol abuse. It's a lot of... and I try to give out information so people can understand what this means. A lot of people do not know what alcohol abuse means. They do not know what drug addiction or addict means. For all they know is that they know somebody who is abusing drugs, but they don't know a specific term or definition. They don't know the language of abuse or domestic violence or any of that. Did I tell y'all that I was over 35 when I realized what domestic violence was? Because that wasn't something we talked about around home. And that was one of the reasons why I became single during that time. And that was one of the reasons why I became an advocate for domestic violence and mental health. Because I realized the two went hand in hand for me. My mental health was jacked up. And I thought it was jacked up while I was with the guy. But I didn't realize how messed up I really was until I became single and had to sit by myself. My kids grew up and moved out, and they left me home by myself, and I had to deal with me. And that's when I started realizing that I had some mental health issues going on now that didn't just start. I thought the relationship was the reason why it happened, but it turns out it goes all the way back to childhood. Anyways, during the mix of this, when you start things like podcasts, you get an opportunity to earn money, which means you can sell ads, or you can sell the ads that they have for you through the company or whatever company you decide to go with, or you can sell ads outside of the company, ones that you do yourself. What happened with me, I'm on an app called Spreaker, which is the app that you're listening to me on right now. And Spreaker distributes my podcast out to other people, other apps that are out there, like Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm on some good apps right now. Audible, Amazon, iTunes, Alexa. I'm on all of those because of this one app. It's not that they're individually paying me. And the names sound big because they are big. Because without people like me who contribute to these apps, there would be nobody on there, with material, except for the person who created the app. So they need people like me who are considered contributors. I contribute what my knowledge and my expertise in a certain situation to this podcast. And in return, if I allow them to play my commercials, to play their commercials ads during my broadcasts, then I can earn some money. Now, most of the times, if you don't have a big fan base, you're not going to earn that much money. And I should be teaching this in the business course on the business podcast that I have, the one where we talk about, making money and all that stuff. I should be talking about it on that one. I haven't talked on it in a while, but it fits this one too because it has everything to do with this one, the reason why I'm on here. Anyways, it's called monetize. Once you get monetized, then you become eligible to receive this earned income. And it is considered earned income because it's taxable income. It's tax deductible income. It's taxable income. You need to pay your taxes on this type of income. Now, for me, I have never made enough money I never really considered myself a earned incomer because I didn't make enough money. And I just recently started making money, and it's not that much. On this app, I am making $10 and something a year. So understand this, when it comes down to podcasts, where your money comes in at is through advertising, selling advertising spaces during your show, and which I don't do that either because a lot of people just don't. I don't know if I'm not a credible source or people just, I never put it out there that that's what I was.
At Highland, we're all about celebrating little wins and little ways to innovate digital processes. There's no customer pain point too small for us to help with. Maybe that's why more than half of the Fortune 100 looks to Highland to connect their content and data, improve processes, and turn little efficiencies into big wins for their customers and clients. Highland, intelligent content solutions for innovators everywhere at highland.com.
La aventura tiene un nuevo nombre, Nissan Rogue Rock Creek. Con la Rogue Rock Creek estarás listo para conquistar el camino que venga. Si es una ruta rocosa, tienes llantas todoterreno. Ante una gran bajada, control para descenso inclinado y su parrilla tubular para techo, lista para lo que necesites. Cuando la vida te ofrece aventura, tú tienes la Nissan Rogue Rock Creek. La capacidad de carga está limitada por el peso y la distribución. Siempre asegure la carga. Cargar el vehículo con mucho peso, especialmente en el techo, afectará el manejo y la estabilidad del vehículo.
Trying to do, because that's not what I was trying to do. What I was trying to do was get a word out there about life, and this podcast here in particular is about my mental health and how I navigate through things. But anyways, when I first started this podcast almost 12 years ago, I think, first thing I learned was that you may make enough money. If you're just an average podcaster like me, you may make enough money to pay and cover the fees for having the podcast. That's the first thing I learned. And I thought that man was joking. I was like, no, I'm going to make more than that. But you only make more if you got consumers, if you got people that's going to listen to you, what you have. And I don't have those type of listeners to even make enough money to cover the fee of having a podcast. So why do I stay in it if I'm not making enough money? Because my mental health is priceless. For the $20 a month I pay to speak on here to y'all saves a day of my life. I don't know if that came across clear. But every time I'm allowed to speak my opinion and to voice things that I agree or disagree with or give somebody information, it adds to my life. That's priceless. I'm not worried about getting paid in the sense of making millions and millions of dollars. And I know some people are like, but you could become very successful. Do you know how many people are successful out there and they still unhappy? Got all the money in the world, but they unhappy because mentally they're not stable. My goal is, all of our goals are different. Somebody's goal may be to make money. My goal is to stay mentally sane, to stay stable. That's my goal. That's why I have a podcast. That's why I started doing the gospel shows. That's why I started doing the interviews with celebrities and things. It's not that I didn't need the money, because I could use the money. Yes, I got a house that's messed up from left to right. I've got bills left to right. I've got things that need to be done. I do need the money, but I can't make listeners listen either. So therefore, I can only get on here and talk what I know. At this point in time, if I was to go like into advertising and things, it still would be hard because most people do not trust the small people like me to get the job done when, and you know, they're not going to pay us a lot. What stopped me from doing that was when people just they wanted to give me like $5 here, $5 there, and I was like, nah, you're not finna stress me out like that, because you know what? Marketing for others is torture in a way, because if you fail the marketing strategy, then you get blamed for everything. You get blamed for the losses. So marketing ain't all about getting gains, but what about those losses that you got to settle with? But in my case, I just don't have enough listeners. And I have not marketed myself out there like that, because when I started this podcast out, in the same way it still is, I've always felt like, well, whoever God wanted to hear this podcast, they will come across it and they will hear it. And he's been good, because there have been people who came across it, they heard it, they liked what they heard, and they said that it helped them to understand things that were going on in their life a little more, and it helped them to get out and become a better person. And that's my main goal. My goal was not money, because I know I have my own issues, and like I said, I have my own mental health that I do. I don't struggle with it like I used to, because I'm learning how to speak these things out and solve the problems that I'm going through. And that's what this podcast is about, solving problems that otherwise would stress us out, coming up with alternative solutions versus beating ourselves up or beating others up. And I like doing that. However, as good as all of that just sounded, if you make even a penny or $1 or $10, you need to report it. If you're on food stamps, Medicaid, or any other type of government assistance, you need to report that income, no matter how small it is. And this is why. Because in the long run, it will come back to you. And you need to have it documented. That was my biggest mistake, is that I did not have the words documented from my caseworkers, because I do receive some government benefits, and these benefits can and will be affected by the increase or decrease of income. And when I tried to report it, I was told that you're not making enough to make a difference, so you don't have to report it. Now, that's what I'm told almost every year when it's time to recertify for certain things or reviews come up. I'm told that every year, and all of a sudden this year I'm told, well, that's not good enough. Now we need to get income from, we need to find out how much you're receiving, what you're getting on this and that, and we're going to switch up some things. Now, let me just read a little bit about what this says. Okay, so my question to the AI was, when to report earned income from social media to social service if receiving government benefits. The AI came back and said, if you're receiving government benefits and earning income from social media, it's essential to report this income to ensure compliance with benefit eligibility requirements. Here are some guidelines. Reporting earned income from social media. Types of income to report. Monetize YouTube videos. If you earn money from ads, sponsorships, or merchandise sales on YouTube. Okay, so that was my biggest fuss right there, was that somebody in social service said that I was earning money from YouTube off of this podcast, and that is a flamboyant lie. I never earned a dime from YouTube. I have been trying to get monetized on YouTube since 2018, and I've yet to meet the requirements. However, because that lie was spread, it affected my benefits still. And I'm still uneasy about where we're setting it with my benefits, because, it's my health insurance. And I rely on these health insurances heavily to get my oxygen supplies, to get incontinence supplies, and other types of medicines, and pay co-pays and things. And one little situation like this can upset the whole process. So I went from having adult Medicaid to now I've got something called direct Medicaid for disability workers. Since now I'm considered to be an earned incomer. Okay, let's keep going. Sponsored social media posts. If you receive payment or free products, services for promoting brands on social media. Okay, here we go. On Facebook, I am monetized. Okay. So again, here's the thing: you can get monetized, but you've got to actually have people interested in what you have to say. You actually got to be saying things that people want to hear you.
Imagínate escuchar tu canción favorita como si fuera la primera vez. Te presentamos el totalmente nuevo y reimaginado Nissan Kicks con sonido Bose Personal Plus y bocinas en la parte superior de los asientos para crear una experiencia 360. Jamás has escuchado algo así. Reimagina tu música y tu forma de manejar. Descubre el totalmente nuevo y reimaginado Nissan Kicks en nissanusa.com. Función disponible. Bose es una marca registrada de The Bose Corporation.
Over the last 75 years, over 10,000 chemicals have been introduced to our food supply. Yet the EU only allows 300 food additives. But at Thrive Market, we bring our members the highest quality brands and restrict more than 1,000 ingredients found at conventional grocery stores, making the switch as easy with our Healthy Swaps scanner, which finds better versions of all your favorite pantry, snacking, and home essentials without the added junk, dyes, and fillers. Plus, it's all delivered straight to your door. So if you're looking to shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health, go to thrivemarket.com/podcast and you'll get 30% off your first order and a free gift.
Say, in other words, I'm opposite because nobody likes the truth anymore. So as long as I'm speaking the truth, nobody wants to hear that. That's a problem. On social media, I probably make $1.16 a month. That's it on Facebook. I don't try to push these social media sites hard like that. I'm not finna stress myself out. My body already going through enough with chronic pain and these chronic different illnesses that I'm fighting with. So I don't see it like the way they trying to see it. I see it as like, this is something fun. This is something I do to pass time by. I'm not viral. I don't got it like that. Now on TikTok, I just got monetized this year on there for the affiliate store. That's it. Just the affiliate store. That's all I got. Now, I do hope that takes off to a place where I do not have to rely on government assistance. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to sit and pretend like it is. Let's be honest. Let me be real to you. You got to know how to speak for yourself. And that's why I say on TikTok, you find me as Jamie the Advocate, because I do speak up for myself and I'm hated for it. Y'all should know how many people hate me for this. I'm not ashamed of anywhere I've been or where I'm going in life, because God is the head of my life and He's the ending of my life, the beginning and the end. So I don't care what people say about me. I do care what they do to me and how they put my name out there to make it seem like I'm more than what I am when I know I'm not. I know an exhausted name by God versus an exalted name by man is different. See, man will exalt your name so he can bring you back down. God will exalt your name because He knows He's giving you higher ground to go to. Now, let's get on that. I got this one video that took off of me in this waist trainer. I'm on there telling the truth. I'm 465 pounds and I'm wearing this waist trainer, and you can fit it too. It's basic. I didn't go in there with a whole lot of trying to convince people to get the product. I just stepped up there, showed my big body, and I had clothes on. I wasn't showing skin and things. I show a little bit now, just stomach, just, so they see the measurements. But when the first video I did that took off, I think it's at 22K views right now. Let's be honest, can we even consider 22K viral now? Because really, you got to have like lots of views to make good money. I sold a few of these at the end of October. My total income off of that was $24 for that month, for that entire month of October. $24. Mind you, I've been monetized on there since I think around, it was during the summertime when I got monetized, because I remember doing it and I was having fun with it. And that's all I was doing. I was having fun with it. Now, did I want to make some money on it? Yeah, who don't? Yes, I wanted to make some money off of it. If they would let me, yeah, I wanted to. So these waist trainers kind of took off for me. That week, I sold a lot of them. The next month, November, my earned income on that was $212. I think I sold like $800 worth of waist trainers in the size. See, this is another thing too, availability. If the product is not available, you're not going to make any money. Mind you, nobody's buying the other 1,999 products. Maybe every once in a while somebody might buy a different product. But for the most part, I've got 2,000 products in my showcase. Nobody is buying anything else outside of that waist trainer. Every once in a while somebody come through and buy maybe something that I advertise, and that's it. And it might pay 40 cents. Okay? It might pay 40 cents. So the total I brought in for November was $212. Now, if you're on North Carolina Medicaid, I think you can get $2,000 in resources. If you're getting any type of disability checks, you have to include that. If you have any types of vehicles that you're not driving, any property, you have to include that. Okay? I don't have property. I live on my people property. I have a vehicle that is here. That vehicle, so they said, was worth, Social Service at the time was saying that the vehicle was worth, I think, $1,200. I think that's what it was. They were trying to say $1,200. And I was like, no, it's always been $200 or either $300 ever since the accident. The accident was in 2016. So the vehicle really hasn't been on the road like that, because after that accident, it was in the shop most of the time. And the guy who was working on it, he really did a banged up job. He really got me for my money. $2,000 out of my Social Security check that I was paying to him every month. I was paying this guy like I was paying for car payments. I was paying him $500 here, $400 there out of my Social Security check. I was going without food. I was eating beans and rice, trying to get this vehicle back on the road. I mean, I'm serious. That's how I was doing. I was going to bed so hungry at night. Hungry. Because I was trying to keep this vehicle running, because I wanted to go to church, and I had a lot of doctor's appointments. A lot of doctor's appointments. Y'all, I'm starting to move around, clean up a little bit. So, that vehicle never ran again. That guy, I think he did something to it. It never ran again because of him. And he had did another one of my vehicles like that too. He did the same thing that he did to that vehicle, the same way he did my other vehicle. The first vehicle, which was a van I had, he cut the intake off and put a donut there, and the gas and stuff was coming back in the car. It was so bad I couldn't even drive the vehicle. And then this vehicle here, when he found out that the insurance was involved, that's when he wanted to say this and that was wrong, and he cut off. He said I needed an exhaust system and a front end. And the front end talked because the car was hit in the front. So the car was actually total. But what he didn't realize was that I had told the people, look, at the time I didn't have no experience with that type of insurance. And they had totaled my car out, and they was like, well, if you keep it, you on your own, and you're not going to get any money. And I was like, well, I want to keep the vehicle, because I had just paid the vehicle, you know. Anyways, as I think about it, it gets me upset how I got done. Anyways, I said I'll get it fixed myself, just so I wouldn't have to total out that vehicle. But the vehicle was totaled. It was totaled. And I wish I would have took the check. I didn't take the check because I was like, well, I got a guy who will fix it. Because I had already talked to him, and I was like, I got a guy who will fix it. But he didn't. So anyhow, that vehicle, after he messed with it, and I almost got killed on the interstate because the car cut off in front of an 18-wheeler as we were going 70 to 75 miles per hour on the interstate.
Over the last 75 years, over 10,000 chemicals have been introduced to our food supply. Yet the EU only allows 300 food additives. But at Thrive Market, we bring our members the highest quality brands and restrict more than 1,000 ingredients found at conventional grocery stores, making the switches easy with our Healthy Swaps scanner, which finds better versions of all your favorite pantry, snacking, and home essentials without the added junk, dyes, and fillers. Plus, it's all delivered straight to your door. So if you're looking to shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health, go to thrivemarket.com/podcast and you'll get 30% off your first order and a free gift.
And it cut off right in the middle of the road. No warnings or nothing. After that, I parked the vehicle and didn't drive it anymore. Wasn't worth the risk of my life or my grandbabies or my mother's life. At that time, my mothers were in the car with me and my grandchildren coming from Raleigh, North Carolina. And y'all know how that traffic is. That big 18-wheeler was behind it. And just so happened that when it shut off, I was going 70-something. So I was able to roll on off the road before it really lost speed. But the car was cut off. I couldn't accelerate or nothing. And I was able to pull over safely, thank God. So, the vehicle went from being $1,700. I had to get it, an appraisal from the tax place. They finally appraised it for $200. So I go back to the social service office and they accept that from the tax office. But now here's a problem. That vehicle now is only worth $200, and that's true. It's really worth less than that probably. But so that helps with the Medicaid deduction. Now I'm not over my resources by $150 some, they said. So here in North Carolina, according to what I was told, you could have up to $2,000 worth of resources. That got me back down in my numbers. Thank God. But they had already made a motion to limit my Medicaid before they even gave me opportunity to turn the information in from the tax office. They already had decided that they was just gonna do their own thing, and that's what they did. They did their own thing illegally and fraudulently because I did not get my 10 days to turn in that information saying that car was appraised. So now that I done got it turned in and everything, because they were fraudulent on their end, I sent the email in with the pictures and stuff that they had gave me, and they said, "Oh, we researched your email, and we found out that this email comes back to a podcast, YouTube. You're making money. You've got an increase in income." And I kept asking, "Where did you hear that from?" On YouTube. Mind you, I know what the resource level is. I always knew that. Duh. They tell us every year. I knew it was 2,000. That hasn't changed for a long time. So I'm like, who told you that that I was making money on YouTube? Now, you say TikTok shop. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I did. But I was also told that I wasn't over the limit too. I knew what the limit was, Because every time I've tried to report that income, I've always been told, oh, you don't make enough to really even consider that significant income a change. And so that's why I didn't ever say anything about it. But this time, these women, I think they just really wanted to give me a hard time, and they did. And I knew the truth, so I wasn't really worried about it. And that's why I'm on here talking to you guys that, like, if you have social media sites and you're receiving any type of government assistance, make sure you have your business in order, because I was able to go to those sites that I'm on and pull up that information and prove that I was not making the money that they thought I was making. Making nowhere near that money that they thought I was making. Whatever the increase was, it wasn't from me. Okay, so that month of November, the earned income I made was $212. So what's this month's income that I have made off of TikTok Shop and off of Facebook? YouTube, again, I don't get anything from YouTube. I think I made 53 cents this month off in Facebook. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. It's either 53 cents or $1.14. It's one of those. I'm not used to even making big money on there, so I don't even be checking it. I don't even know when it go in my account, because I don't even be checking it, because I be knowing that I'm not posting on there like that. And I know that when I got blacklisted, that took a lot of my following. Y'all know I've been talking about this since 2022. When I got blacklisted, whatever went out there, it took my followers, it took my listeners. So, and now they want to say that I'm making income that is greater than, but I'm not, because I don't have the listeners nor the following that I used to have. Now, even when I did have the followings, you know, there's still requirements you got to do with these commercials and things. They've got to listen to the commercial. They got to actually listen to it, not forward it, in order for you to get, you know, your penny or whatever. Anyways, for this month so far, I think I've made around I might be made $128, $130 some dollars for this month. So I don't anticipate making even $500 a month off of these social media sites. And that's what upsets me a little bit, is that when they come in and want to change how I receive my benefits, and then in this change, it takes away from some of the benefits that I've been receiving, and it hurts me more than it does them. Like, if Medicaid does not pay my Medicare premiums, then that's coming out of my pocket instead of me getting the extra help that I'm really entitled to. And see, with me making no more than $100, and let's say on an average, I might make $200 extra a month. Food stamps, that wouldn't change that. That wouldn't change nothing in food stamps, because you have 10 days to report. And in food stamps, it wouldn't change anything, because, you know, you're allowed to make a certain amount. They already have this table out there, so you know if you go over that amount, then you need to start reporting it. But Medicaid is different from food stamps. This Medicaid thing is they're trying really hard to make it seem as if it's more than what it is, but it isn't. Y'all can hear a little sizzle, because I'm cooking now. So me reporting, I didn't report that I made anything. Why didn't I report it? Because like I said, I knew I wasn't over the limit and it wouldn't affect anything. That's why I didn't report it. And I was told not just to be. One woman told me one time, you know, don't be calling up here just to report something, you know, and you're not really. When she said, when you start making, this is what the woman told me. She said, when you start making over $500, then call and report it to us. That's what the last Medicaid worker told me. I don't remember what her name was, but that's what she had told me. When you start making over $500, then call us and report it. Because then now you're going into your 2000s. So you see, that's why I'm trying to tell y'all this and break it down for you as easy and simple as I can. Let's see. Because I don't want anybody else to feel like I feel right now. I feel like I'm struggling to fight for my rights. That is there anybody out there with a truthful bone in them? You know, that's where I'm at right now.
Over the last 75 years, over 10,000 chemicals have been introduced to our food supply. Yet the EU only allows 300 food additives. But at Thrive Market, we bring our members the highest quality brands and restrict more than 1,000 ingredients found at conventional grocery stores, making the switches easy with our Healthy Swaps scanner, which finds better versions of all your favorite pantry, snacking, and home essentials without the added junk, dyes, and fillers. Plus, it's all delivered straight to your door. So if you're looking to shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health, go to thrivemarket.com/podcast and you'll get 30% off your first order and a free gift.
I'm just like, is anybody with a truthful bone? Because if I really had made, that grease popping me in my face. If I had really made over those amounts that I was told, I would have reported it. But I just started making that, and it was nowhere near. It wasn't over that amount. And so the question is, do I allow them to change my Medicaid without even being close to meeting those amounts? And that's my fuss. My fuss is about, no, I don't. We shouldn't change that until I start getting into those amounts. We can't assume that I'm going to make that, and you haven't even seen me make that. I haven't even came close to making over what the limits are. Okay, so let me keep going. Affiliate marketing, and that's what I do on TikTok, which is affiliate marketing. If you earn commissions by promoting product, services, and including affiliate links on social media, you need to report that income. Selling products or services. If you sell products or services directly through social media platforms, you need to report that income. When to report income. Monthly reporting. If you receive benefits like supplemental Social Security income, which is SSI, or temporary assistance for needy families, TANF, you may need to report your income monthly. Now, if you do receive SSI, I think they say for every $2 you make, it affects your SSI. So that has to be definitely reported when you make. Say, for instance, if you receiving $900 worth of SSI or $600 worth of SSI, and you make earned income, you make $100, $50, $30, $25, you do have to report that, because that goes by dollar for dollar. Because that SSI income is supplemental, which means you did not earn that. Which means somebody else who worked for you to have that privilege to get that, because you can't meet, you can't meet incomes. Let me calm down. I get upset when I talk about some things like this. But supplemental income, they want to take that back as much as possible. If you're working, they want to take that back, because that's just in case if you got some type of disability, illness, sickness, and you did not work a lot and put enough in to earn Social Security benefits. See, I actually retired. That's what most people don't. I have retired disability, which is permanently. And it's a difference in all of, one day we might need to talk about that, the differences in all of these benefits. Because SSI, I would say probably is like, that's the main one you would definitely need to report on. Because that is just like, it's not like food stamps. Yeah, that one. I would just say that one, if you're making any extra money, yeah, report that, because they got to take that back. They got to cut your check down for that. Okay, quarterly reporting. If you receive benefits like Medicaid or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, you remember SNAP, food stamps, you may need to report your income quarterly. Notice the word quarterly. Well, that quarter is up October, November, December. That is up. And never month did I go over the Medicaid budget. Never month. Okay. So that is a quarterly budget that you need to pay attention to. They used to have us report things every 3 months. We used to have to do recertifications, and then they changed it to 6, and then they changed it to, to once a year. But yeah, definitely report. Annual reporting. If you receive benefits like Social Security, disability insurance, you may need to report your income annually. You hear that? If you receive benefits like Social Security, disability insurance, you may need to report your income annually. And I have not made enough, again, for it really to affect anything. But I am going to make sure I do send the annual report in so that they do know that, hey, I did earn a little something, toward the end of the year. But I don't know what they're going to do with them $1. I mean, really. And you know what makes it so good? Even though I don't got it like that, I do with God. The things that He just always provided. I mean, y'all don't be hearing me on here complaining because I don't have it like that. I be on here saying, I'm going to figure out a way to do it. I'm going to save. And I'm going to get what I need. I'm going to catch it either when it's on sale. I'm going to do something to get what I need. But it's never been, I don't have to lie, cheat, nor steal to get my needs met. Because I serve a big God who makes sure that is done. And if there's something I think I need that He don't think I need, He's not going to allow me to have it. Okay? And whatever I do need, He gonna make sure I get it. And even down to my heart's desire. Like the end of this month, He started really hitting my heart's desires. It was things I really desired, and I really didn't even realize that I was desiring it until I got it. How cool is that? We serve a God who just knows what's best for us. Okay. How to report earned income. Contact your caseworker. Reach out to your caseworker or social service agency to ask about the specific reporting requirements, submit documentation, which I told y'all that's what I did, bank statements, tax returns, invoices, or receipts. Oh, let me tell you that while I'm on that. That goes for tax offices too. Your county tax office, they may want an end of the year return too. Like I just got a letter because of the Medicaid situation. Now I got a letter from the tax office talking about they want my 2023 return, but I don't have one for them because I didn't earn anything like that. I didn't file no tax return. I did not earn. So I gotta just let them know that I don't have anything to report to them, but I may have this here, the 2024, I'm going to file for it. I don't know if I get anything back or not, or I don't know if I'm going to have to pay in. I don't know, but I'm going to make sure that I do file it. Okay, social media platforms. You got to submit your social media platform earning statements. That's easy to do because they do keep up with it for you. All I had to do was go on my page, find it. I screenshot it, and some of it I just downloaded. You can download it and you can send it on to where it needs to go. Consequences of not reporting earned income: benefit reduction or termination. Failing to report earned income can result in reduced or terminated benefits. Overpayment. Oh, let me back up to that reduced benefits. See, that right there is what gets me. My benefits got reduced, and they knew I was going to get the information. So some of these workers out here, either they're not skilled in it, or some of them just don't like you and want to see you do bad. Because the caseworker I told her that I was going to get that information for her. And no sooner than I said it, it's like she submitted my case complete. My case review complete. And I was like, how can you... That's probably what they got upset about, because the email I sent back was, how can you complete my case review and you didn't give me time to submit my information? That's what I sent back. Next thing I know, my Medicaid was limited. It was put to limited instead of full Medicaid. And some of you may wonder why I'm talking about my business publicly. Because I'm ostracized publicly. Because this is the public who's doing this to me. That's why I'm talking about it publicly. Oh man, this thing is not flipping for me. Let me see. Alright. Oh, let's see. Let me put a little bit more of this on there. I'm sauteing these pork chop a little bit, and then I'm going to add some water to it and let it just boil. Have me a soft pork chop sandwich with some hot sauce. Okay. Another thing is overpayment. Consequences of not reporting earned income can cause overpayment. If you don't report earned income, you may receive benefits you're not eligible for, leading to overpayment. Penalties. In severe cases, failing to report earned income can result in penalties, fines, or even prosecution. Remember to consult with your caseworker or social service agencies to determine the specific reporting requirements for your benefits and situation. Now, just for the sake that you don't go through what I went through, make sure you get it in some type of writing. If they gonna be bold enough to sit there and tell you that you're not making enough for it to really affect anything, and we don't need you to report that $1 that you're making, you might want to get it in writing, because that was the mistake I did not do. I did not get it in writing from that Medicaid worker. That Medicaid work I had then was in 2020, I think it was, in 2021. Because y'all remember when the pandemic happened, you know, they shut down a lot of things. And so they put us on hold for some things. And I think it was around 2022 when they brought it back. And in that time, I was told that I did not need to report my social media income, because it's in what they say, it's only $1, you know, it's not gonna matter. But yes, it does matter. It does matter. And if you get caught in the wrong way, it's gonna hurt you. Now, thank God that I wasn't in the wrong, you know, and I hadn't went over the budget. But if I had, it would have hurt me. Ooh, this little drink is so good. It's good and cold. If I had been in the wrong, it would have hurt me. So what you do is, when they tell you, remember, I'm advocating on behalf of you and me. When they tell you it don't matter, get it in writing. Say, well, I've been through this before and it kind of did matter to some people. I would like to have that in writing, that at least I did report my social media income. Please get it in writing so that you don't get caught up like the way they tried to hem me up. And I do call it a hem up. I do call it that. Because they kept harassing me to get things. And what is harassment? Let's get that definition term, harassment, so that we'll know. And I'm going to pour some water in this. Y'all going to hear it sound a little bit loud. It's going to sound a little bit loud because I'm pouring the water in it. What? It didn't sound loud? Well, okay. Don't be loud then. It didn't sound loud. Usually it'd be like, psh. But it didn't. Put this lid on here and let it cook. Okay. Oh, I'm so ready for that pork chop sandwich. Y'all just don't know. Okay, so harassment by caseworkers can take many forms, and it's essential to recognize these signs to protect yourself and your rights. Here are some common signs of harassment by caseworkers. And notice I put in there the term caseworker because we're specifically talking about how caseworkers handle cases. That's the main concern. How they handle people who are reporting income that they're making, but get told, you're not making enough for it to make a difference, so therefore, you don't have to report anything to us until you make this amount. Well, we need that in writing now, so we don't look like liars later on, okay? Harassment by caseworkers, okay. The first one is verbal harassment, yelling or raising their voice. If a caseworker speaks to you in a loud, aggressive tone, it can be intimidating and harassing. You know what? That happened to me. I asked the caseworker, I said, where did you get that from that I was working for YouTube or I was monetized on YouTube so that I can straighten that out? All I wanted to do was find out where the information came from so that I could straighten it out, because evidently this is affecting my benefits. And I want to know where you're getting your information from. So she got mad and she started yelling, Jamie, if you don't stop, I'm going to hang up the phone on you. Because I asked the question. You don't stop, I'm going to hang up on you. And she hung up on me. She did. She got loud and then she hung up on me. I'm still going to report that, by the way. I just wait until after the holidays because I knew I was going to have my grandkids and things. But, yeah, there's still some paper and pen with your name on it. Colleen. Yeah. That's her name. Belittling or mocking. If a caseworker makes you feel inferior, stupid, or worthless, it's a sign of harassment. Do y'all hear me? This is a sign of harassment. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm here for us. It's happened to me, and I know it's happening to many others. Threats or intimidation. If a caseworker threatens to reduce or terminate your benefits or makes you feel fearful, it's harassment. I kept getting threatened that we're going to take away your benefits. This is going to limit your income because you didn't report this, and because you have this vehicle, this and that. And they just kept reminding me over and over of how it was going to take away from my Medicaid. I mean, they didn't stop. They didn't let up. I just listened. And then, I had a couple words. Now, you can't be telling me 1 month that this is acceptable and then the next month it's not. Let me know what's going on. So, yeah, that was threats of intimidation. That's what we call caseworker abuse. That's caseworker harassment. Now, I'm trying to put it out there, so if any caseworkers are listening, that maybe you can go back and remember what you learned. Remember when you took all them years and you had to spend them in college? You got that degree? You got that degree because you said you understood this. Okay. Threats of intimidation. I don't know. Did I read that? I don't know. I'm going to read it again. If a caseworker threatens to reduce or terminate your benefits or makes you feel fearful, it's harassment. Yeah. I didn't feel fearful of her, but I began to think about, I've got all these appointments scheduled up. How is this going to affect me? And by me already having a chronic illness, I'm already in pain. I'm already stretched thin. But thank God, I have a God who takes all that. He takes it all in so I can still show up for myself. Ain't that good? Nonverbal harassment, intrusive or aggressive body language. If a caseworker stands too close, invades your personal space, or makes aggressive gestures, it can be harassing. Staring or glaring. If a caseworker stares at you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable or intimidated, it's a sign of harassment. Y'all, some of them church folk do that too, don't they? Y'all better listen up. Emotional harassment, gaslighting. If a caseworker makes you question your own sanity, memory, or perception, it's a form of emotional harassment. This is what you do. You train your mind for the battle before you get there. Study what you know to be true and hold down to it. Lock down on it. No matter what they say, how they say it, you stick to what you know is true. Don't stray, don't try to lie, don't join in with them lies, don't try to make up stuff to fit their scenario. You stick to your truth, what you know. You stick to that truth, what you know is the truth. Emotional manipulation. If a caseworker uses guilt, shame, or fear to control your behavior or decisions, it's harassment. Listen, this is what they don't tell you, is that if you meet the requirements, then you are eligible. There is no caseworker that's supposed to be, and if they're doing this, shutting your benefits off just because they don't like you. If they are doing this, it's illegal. It's fraud. It's harassment. It's emotional harassment. And they can lose their job. You remember the same people that hired them, human resources? Go back and report to them what they doing. And if you have to protect yourself however you can, whether that's through a device or, showing up saying, take an extra person with you. Do what you got to do to protect yourself. Other signs of harassment: unnecessary home visits, excessive or intrusive questioning. Now, on those home visits, if a caseworker visits your home excessively or without a legitimate reason, it can be harassing. If a caseworker asks you excessive or intrusive questions, especially about your personal life, it's a sign of harassment. And teach your kids that too. Because if a teacher is y'all remember teachers are caseworkers. And if a teacher is steady asking your kids something about their home life, you know what that is? It's a sign of harassment. When they don't have no reason to be asking you. If they want to know something about your home, they need to ask you, not your children. Retaliation. If a caseworker retaliates against you for reporting their behavior or for exercising your rights, it's harassment. What to do if you're being harassed? Document everything. Keep a record of all interactions with the caseworker, including dates, times, locations, and details of what happened. Don't wait the next week to write it out. Write it out right then. Or you could do like some doctors do, or like some caseworkers do. They carry this mini recorder, and as soon as something happens, they record their notes in that recorder of what happened so that you can write it out clearly when it's time. Okay, the next thing, what to do if you're being harassed: report their behavior. Inform your caseworker supervisor. In my case, the supervisor is just as much at fault as they are. In my case. So I got to do a little more than that. And I'm not going to say what all, but yeah. Inform caseworker supervisor, the agency's administration, or the state social services department about harassment. Which means you go to the head. The state is the head of these social service departments. Y'all do know social services works for the government. You find that agency who is over that agency and report what you know. Seek support. Reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or mental health professional for emotional support. I'd be careful on that. If you know for sure they're on your side, okay, fine. If you don't know for sure, you might just have to tell God about it and trust him. Take him at his word and leave it there. The fourth thing, know your rights. Oh, let me back up. Get to know God, and you'll see that he don't tell nothing you tell him. He's not like man. He's different. He's a God that cannot lie. And I promise you, you will see things work in your favor. Not just because of you, but because we know who God is. Know your rights. Familiarize yourself with your rights and the agency's policies and procedures. When they give you these letters that say, according to statute, such and such a number and dot number, go look up that statute that they're saying according to. Hold them accountable. Because that statute not only tells you what's good for you, but it also tells you what's good for them and what they need to abide by. So go check out the statute, and if they're not honoring the code of statute, you throw it back to them. Well, this is what your own statutes say right here. That's your defense. Use their own wording against them. Okay, remember, you have the right to be treated with dignity and respect by caseworkers. Don't hesitate to seek help if you're experiencing harassment. I told that worker, I said, you harassing me now. See, because you keep telling me that my benefits going to get cut off, like I'm going to sit here and cry. Like I'm supposed to bow down to you. Girl, the same way you got hired, the same way you can get fired. You're not going to be there as long as you think. Because I don't know. It's some social workers that stay in the field for a long time, but a lot of them are in and out because they can't handle day-to-day pressures themselves. They are messed up people themselves. You hear me? Social workers are human beings too, who have emotional outbursts themselves, who can't always contain themselves. They don't have self-control like you think. They're not self-disciplined like you think. That's a front. That's a face, a facade they got to put on. They got to make themselves look more than what they are. So never be afraid of a set of keys jingling. Never be afraid of closed doors, locked doors. Don't be afraid of people who sit behind desks. I promise you, they don't own that company. Most of them don't own that company. And even if they did own the company, the government still got rules for them too. Do you hear what I'm saying? Ain't nobody in this entire world that is not underneath some type of government ruling. Healthcare, schools, even at home. There are government rules that we have to follow and abide by. And if someone is breaking that law or rules, it's called laws and rules and regulations. If someone is breaking that, then there are consequences to that breaking. Same way they came to me and called themselves, causing me to have consequences for not reporting that small income. Now, let me go here and ask this question. I'm going to ask this to the AI. What is North Carolina eligibility income for adult Medicaid? What is North Carolina eligibility income for adult Medicaid? And make sure when y'all are using Google that you're putting in the words right, because then you'll pull up better answers. Google is a resource that we can use to help us. What is North Carolina eligibility income for adult Medicaid for a family of one? Or should I say a single? I'm gonna say a family of one. See what it says. Pulling it up. For a family of one in North Carolina, the eligibility income for adult Medicaid is $1,732 per month. This amount is based on the modified adjusted gross income and is subject to change. To get the most up-to-date information and to see if you qualify, it's best to apply for Medicaid through North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. So that's what it is. It's $1,732. And I was told, as long as I'm not making over $500, that I'm fine. And I didn't need to report anything. But when I start making over that, and that kind of does line up with my income. It does line up. So that goes to show you that they did this out of harassment to me. Started saying, oh, you got earned income. Oh, you got a job. No, I got a hobby that just happened to monetize me. That's not my job. I don't get up and work that thing 9 to 5 like that. And I'm sick of doing videos already, trying to keep up with the affiliate program. I like doing videos, but health-wise, it's exhausting. And I have to pay people to pick up my mail. I can't tote this stuff. I have to get excess, well, I don't have to pay people to pick up my mail, but I have to get excess help to do this thing, and I don't see myself doing that long term. So why would I lose my benefits for something I don't see myself doing in long term? I don't see myself just steady going to the mailbox every day doing this. And I don't see the people who help me steady helping me like that. They get tired too. I'm not finna take them for granted like that. If I see a product that I figure might sell, yeah, I do that. I'm learning this thing as I go. But don't sit there and say I got the income in it that I don't got in it. That's a flamboyant lie. That's a big lie. Ooh, this pork chop looking good. So I'm not making all that. I'm not near that income monthly. I'm sorry if some of y'all thought I was rich. I'm not rich. Don't y'all hear what I be saying? I be saving money. No, let me correct. I gotta use the correct term. Not saving money. What I do is I look for savings. I find products when they go on sale, and I pretty much know, if you know during the summertime, summer things are going to be high. If you buy them during the wintertime, you're going to get them a lot cheaper. So what do? I have to wait till the wintertime to buy the summer things. I have to wait till the summertime to buy the winter things so that I can get a big discount. And we talking 50 to 90% discounts. That's how I be getting my stuff. I have to wait and be patient. I'm using my fruit of the spirit. That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting and I'm being patient so that I can get my home fixed. I can't get no loans. I'm loaned out. Car loan, and I already had a personal loan to get the car loan. I had to get a car loan, personal loan. And you know, when you're on a fixed income, it's good to know budgeting. And I think we should talk about budgeting one day. Because I use coupons. I look for things that say money back. It's different ways to make incomes meet, but the majority of it comes from you being patient and not being, you know, if something go wrong, don't, like, for instance, I went to get that thing checked out on my car, and they came back with $2,000 worth of work that needed to be done on my car. Now, I had a choice. Do I give myself a heart attack by being worried about all that needs to be done? Or do I come home and say, okay, let me see what I got here. What can I work with first? What can I get done? What's within my means that I can get done? I come home and I be reasonable with myself. I don't get mad with myself about things like that, because that's life. Car need what it need. Why am I get mad at the car? Why am I get mad at the people who's charging me? I mean, they only telling me what needs to be done, and it's best that I listen to them. So that's what I would do, is I come home and I create a reasonable plan, and I say, well, this is doable right here. And that's what I do. I do what's doable. Okay? And that's how you gotta be. If you want to have peace in your life, you got to pay attention to what's going on. And make sure that if you got social media sites, if you're making money off these sites, that you are reporting that income, because it will come back and bite you if you're not. And if you get told, like I got told, oh, you're not making enough for it to make a significant impact or a significant increase, don't just take their word for it. Tell them to put it in writing. If they can't put it in writing, don't trust nothing they saying. I mean, I'm just being honest. I just got carried for this whole loop for nothing. I can't trust what you telling me. You could be a worker, but you could also be a liar too. Just because they sit behind a desk don't mean they don't have some habitual flaws. We got lawyers, you got sex offenders working in social service. Y'all better look at the news and see what kind of people are getting arrested now. After the pandemic, what did we learn through the pandemic? We learned that everybody was not who they appeared to be. The mask fell off during the pandemic. And most of the masks couldn't be put back on. Yep. Okay, y'all. Peace, love, and happiness. I gotta go get this pork chop moving. I'm hungry. I haven't ate any real thing all day. I need some ketchup. I haven't really ate, y'all. I ate some cakes, some Little Debbie cakes, and some chips. That's all I've had all day. But my body is saying, girl, I need some more. So I'm going to give it a little more. I'm going to give it something to hold it. Oh, I am not walking way over there for a plate. Let me grab a bowl. I will talk with y'all again tomorrow. And remember, if you do podcasts and you don't have millions of listeners, you probably just making enough money. You might make enough to pay your light bill. But for me, I'm getting pennies a podcast or pennies an episode. I pray for it to become better than that one day, because I know what I have to say is truly worthy of listening to. It's just got to find the right listeners. I got to find my tribe. Now that I know what I'm good at, I got to find the people who want what I'm good at. That's how that thing go. Ooh, got me a fresh bottle of hot sauce. And y'all can go check me out on my TikTok shop. Jamie the Advocate is my name on TikTok now. Or you can look under Miss Coco Bowden. But Jamie the Advocate is my name. And that's because I want anything that I do to be pertaining toward, doing the right thing. Advocates step in to help us do the right thing. Some do. Can't say for everybody. All right, y'all, let me go. I gotta go eat.